think we're gonna put it back together and drive it, and put the valve cover back on, plug stuff back in, put the front clip back together. That took all of 10 minutes to put back together. Put the front bumper back in, and then I can put the turbo hose back on and the intake back on. And then we'll fire it up and drive, do wheelies. I mean, burnouts. Wait, both? I got the front clip on that still has the bumper that we're not putting on because that's up there. And that'd be wasted effort if we needed to put it back in service position. But they should be drivable now, theoretically. So let's start it up and see what it looks like. I think, too, this is a good mock-up, you know? Think about something fun there. You could make it look tough and steel bumper. It started, it's running, it's ticking a little bit. It's 4 in the morning. It's smoking a little bit. We just pointed out that we did also put oil in the cylinders, but it was smoky when I brought it in. But it's not billowing white smoke, although it does look a little bit white, but it could just be, it's also been sitting. Who knows? Okay, yeah, so yeah. It seems like it's running fine. It's kind of tickier. Drove it on the loop, drove it on the block. Gonna that tick. It's a little bit smoky in here, but I think that's just the stuff that we spilled around coming up. Coolant's up to it's pressurized, but so the main thing that I'm worried about is getting water back in there, or oil in there, or running bad. There's a little bit of oil on the dipstick, or a little bit of water, just like a couple of flecks. It's not that much. It sounds weird. But we're gonna drive around a little bit, get up to temp, see what it looks like. But it seems fine enough. Okay. Gonna drive around, get a little more up to temp. Well, I guess it's up to temp now, but drive around a little bit to see how it. Happy, just added some fuel system cleaner. And yeah, I'm gonna go work on dinner while my brother drives around. All right, time for a compression test. All right. Got it up to temp yesterday, drove around a little bit, got it to stop smoking, and now on startup starts right on up and not smoking anymore.
Front cylinder plug is orangey, kind of rusty looking. The rest of them were regular white, clear, whatever, you can see that. It didn't seem like much until I added it up with water in there, low compression in there, readings from before. So anyway, apparently that's how it looks when it gets coolant on it. I'm putting the plugs back in just so I can move it around until we confirm we're going to pull ahead, which apparently is 7 hours. And we already had the valve cover off the other day. It wasn't that big a deal. So I did kind of round 2 second diag, and there's water in the first cylinder. I had it under pressure, double checking the cooling system, and left it for, I don't know, 15 minutes, and it didn't drop on my gauge. You know, if it dropped, it was not noticed. And then when I went to crank it over for a compression test, the first cylinder here was squirting water. So I figured that's our problem. That's finally the most proof, because it was barely using any coolant, and it wasn't really driving poorly. I mean, it was a little underpowered. But anyway, I'm about run it by Scott, but figure we'll do heads. But anyway, putting it back together so I can move it around. I ran EPR through it, did an oil change because there's water in it, and I wasn't sure if that was from when he had the oil cooler go on him or what, and to double check because our compression readings were kind of inconclusive. But all this ties together, so I don't know if I guess there's enough water in there now. We'll do another oil change after the head gasket change, head gasket replacement, and okay, bye. I ran shop air on a hose, extended hose down, and blew most of the puddle out of there. So it seemed like you get enough water in there and it's gonna over compress and do some more damage. I don't know what more damage it could do, but it seemed like a bad idea to run it with a puddle in there. Maybe safer than sorrier.
Well, that's Maverick after the driving home the Christmas trees. It's running a little rough on my home, so I'm gonna pull the middle spark plugs that were fouling and see if they look foul again, and maybe put in one of the extras that I got in. Number 3 doesn't look bad at all. Alright, well number 4 is indeed pretty fouled up. The gap is almost closed. I'll flip it over to the other side. Alright, new plugs started up pretty good, so we'll see how it drives. I bet it'll be just fine. I feel pretty good about it. The fact that it seems to be that the reason it doesn't run good is because that plug is fouling out, so that seems specific and hopefully fixable. But we'll see. I drove so good today, so that's encouraging. I feel pretty good about the way it's running now, so that's exciting. I mean, obviously it's fouling that plug, but it seems pretty consistently that, and that's when it starts running bad, and then you clean that up and then it's good to go. So I feel like it's not gonna just randomly die on me, which is very encouraging. Well, so we did an oil change and flush on the Audi to clean out that water that was in there and to give it a fresh start. And my brother was rechecking the compression, I think. I actually don't remember what he said he was doing, but he had the plugs open and he cranked it over and it splurted out water out of cylinder number 1. And that was the one that had really high compression, the first crank we did on it, the very first test. And so then we're assuming that was so high because it had water in it, and that gives you higher compression when there's liquid in there. So it looks like we do indeed have a bad head gasket. So it's still good that we fixed that water leak. We're gonna have to pull this back in, strip it back down to where we got it, go down a little bit deeper to get the heads, and get that replaced. So that's good to have something definitive, albeit more work than we were hoping to backtrack to get out of doing more work, but now we're back to where we were, but with good coolant. So let's do it. And to prep for it, I'm gonna hit the bolts, the exhaust bolts, with some penetrating oil to help set us up for success coming up here soon, because those have a tendency to seize, and that's not fun for anyone. With a fair amount of wiggle jiggling, but not actually that bad, this was able to squeak on in here between the posts. And I think we can still get the Audi back in and tinker with that, but I'm gonna pull the valve cover off of the driver's side of this because jury's still out if I ever double checked that after the other side blew. It was some say that I may ruin, saying I'll go back to it if it's a problem, but it's hard to say. But Powerstroke's back in here, so yay. Well, we've got the Powerstroke tucked in the corner here. I'm gonna pull the driver's side valve cover off and look at the injector, see what I can see. It feels like we've done this before, but I got the EGR out and the injector plugs all unplugged, so I'm gonna pull the valve cover. Interestingly enough, this here multi-faceted tool was given to me by a guy at O'Reilly's when I bought this degas bottle because we thought it was leaking. So I changed it in the parking lot of O'Reilly's with this here thing. Valve cover off, down to the high pressure oil rail, pop that bad boy off, and then we're at injectors. You can see what we got going on. All right, rail out, injectors, and we'll see what we got. Number 1, doesn't look too bad. Not all gunked up like the bad ones on the other side at least. Number 2, also not that bad. Also a little bit gummed up on the tip. Third one, also not crazy. Still very dirty on the tips. The tips look burned or something. Fourth one, obviously these aren't actually 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this one looks the same. Also, oh goodness, also all kind of carboned up on the tip there. So I think we're gonna get these tested. They're no smoking gun here, but they look weird. One of the other things that can be wrong on this Powerstroke, allegedly, is I think I already mentioned it maybe, but there's like coolant sleeve, I guess. There's coolant passages around the tips of the injectors that can get cracked with bad coolant, I guess, and I don't know what else, oil or what's it. I haven't done it. I've been meaning to do coolant flush on this since I bought it, which I've not. Also mentioned that, I think. Anywho, I was gonna see if we have any pressure cooling pressure adapters, but this is a little hard to access. But I just so happen to have, in fact, I know I do because I just checked. Just so happen to have a backup coolant reservoir that I can test the cap size because so that I don't have to dump coolant all over the inside of that there in the belt cover. So that's exciting. Let's see if this guy, ooh, sweet, we're in business. So we can pressure test, if we hook that hose back on, we can pressure test the pressure system and see if we're getting leaks anywhere on the cooling side. So I was looking up here next to where that was stacked. There's these 2-inch spacers for the Ford. I think they're for the newer hubs for the Powerstroke in that era. There's no way I can fit those on the Audi, right? That wouldn't work. It'd be kind of funny. They're gigantic. No, I guess they'd be way too big around. I mean, there's obviously too many lugs, but it'd be funny. All kinds of random stuff to make work up here. Ooh, put some big hooks on the Audi. Ooh. Well, having the Powerstroke over here in the corner is very dark, a little bit dark, but that's okay. So, got the reservoir mounted back up temporarily, kind of hooked on its spot. So then I'm going to hook the tester up on there, throw that pressure on it, and see what happens. All right, got it up to 14 psi or so. The cap says 16 psi for pressure on the cap there. 16, 15, 16, 16. So gonna peek around, see if that holds pressure for one thing, and then I'm gonna peek in the injector holes and see if there's any coolant burbling out. I don't think there is because there's no fuel in here, which that's one of the main symptoms, I guess. But I figured it wouldn't hurt to check since we're here, and I got the alternative is pulling figure out where to get these injectors tested, taking them somewhere, and paying, I think it sounds like it's like $50 each, which is kind of annoying to just throw in the dark. I mean, better than 120 or whatever it was for the Remand new injectors, but it also might not even be injectors. It could be wiring. It could be a couple other things. I don't know. So I was kind of hoping for a smoking gun under here of one of these being really obviously bad, but they're not, so that's annoying. So I'm not entirely sure what to do, but I think might be kind of dumb to put it back together, but it's not that hard. This side isn't that hard to do. I tore it down in like, I don't know, an hour and a half maybe, so not the end of the world to put back together for nothing. But cleaning these tips up, so maybe if I clean these tips up and it runs good for a little bit, then that would be telling of something, I guess. So I don't know.